Good evening, friends. Hope you all are doing good. Yesterday, I had given you a question about natural vegetations and their types. So, most of you have written a good answer. So, three types of natural vegetations you are supposed to write. So, jungle is there, grasslands are there, and bushes are there. So, most of you have written good answer. So, I have told you to discuss brief about each of them. So, forest, you should discuss all types of forests like we have equatorial forests, then you have evergreen, tropical evergreen, then evergreen, temperate deciduous, tropical deciduous, savanna type, and desert type. Then you have uh, on the tundra and taiga type of forest. Okay. Then you are supposed to discuss about second thing, that is a grassland. So savanna, you have a tropical grassland, and then you have a prairies, pampas, temperate grasslands. Okay. So in this way, you had to talk about different types of vegetations, and in brief, you have to talk about characteristics of each and every one of them. Okay. So if you are talking about the characteristics of these vegetations, then if you know, you can write certain other characteristics of them, like some are very useful for the agriculture, some are very useful for the fruit cultivation, some are very useful for the furniture making, some are very useful for the, let us say, mm, recreational purpose. Like grasslands for recreational purpose, they are very important. So in this way, you have to talk about different types of natural vegetation. So here you can draw more and more flow charts. There you can draw more and more diagrams. So make your answer more innovative by doing these things. Okay. So today we are going to see very short and simple chapter. Very short chapter. I don't think so much will be asked in the UPSC prelims from this chapter, but certain basic definitions of these chapters are very important to know. So about human environment settle about human environment. So we had seen in first chapter about environment. So human environment, natural environment, so human made environment, these things we have seen. Okay. So human environment is nothing but whatever settlements are there, communication ways are there. So once human beings settle somewhere, they create environment around them. So we call it as a human environment. So human environment we can call it as these type of things, like roads are there, railway networks are there, communication satellites are there, settlements are there. They can be known as human environment. So let us understand this short chapter in a brief manner. So this chapter can be used for writing the answers by using the simple definitions given in this chapter. So, for example, first sub para you can see about settlement. So, settlements are nothing but where we settle up, where human beings settle up. Once they decide to work at some place, they try to go and settle. So, it might be agriculture in a previous generation. Before that, it might be like ancient caveman, it might be hunting and gathering, and normal and current modern man, it might be their jobs, their industries. So depending upon what type of work that you are going to do, we are going to settle in that particular area. Okay. So we settle into particular area by building our homes. So settlements are the places where we build our homes. So it might be caves, it might be treetops, it might be farms, it might be cities, it might be rural areas. Okay. So these settlements can be permanent or temporary. So depending upon, for example, migrants. So migrants, a specific example, I'll say Mumbai Dabbewalas in current modern scenario. So these Mumbai Dabbewalas, they come from rural areas. So in rural area, what happens during the stag season? Okay, during the, let us say, there are no farming activities after, let us say, this post harvest season, like that there is no farming activity for few days, so they will come to Mumbai. So after again farming activities start, they will again go back. So they are very temporary settlements. So they will have some temporary rooms over there, or they will stay in some slum areas. They will be built some slums over there, and then again they will go back. Also, you will see the construction work. If somewhere construction work is going on, like highway construction work or somewhere, then these workers, laborers, they will they will bring their things from their places, and they will make a temporary settlement. Like they will establish some tents, and they will, by putting four stones, they will make a their own chulas. So in this way, these temporary settlements are made. Permanent settlement means where you decide to stay permanently. So generally farmers, so they have permanent settlement. So if you decide, okay, we are going to do farming over here, okay, and you go and settle for a job. So you know that I'm going to do some job here for next 10-15 years. So try to settle here permanently. So we built our homes over there. Okay. So where we are going to build our homes, this area is called as a site. Okay. So where we are going to settle ourselves, we call it as a site. Okay. So this site, okay, site we choose based upon certain conditions, like what is a favorable climate condition, and what is availability of water, suitable land, fertile soil. These are the different characteristics that we see while choosing the site in particular area. Now, let us understand these temporary type of settlement. Okay, so one example of this, it is called a transhumance. Okay, what is this transhumance? Here these people seasonally migrate, like I told you about Dabewala, but Dabewala is not a transhumance. Transhumance is generally done by the shepherds. So when these shepherds, when during the when in the summer season, so in summer season on the hilltop it is very dry, so they will come to the valleys, and in the winter or in the rainy season they will move to the hilltops. So this is known as transhumance. So here you can see, so on in the valleys they will, from valleys they will go to the top of the mountain. So this is also a temporary type of settlement. Okay, so friends, this is a type of temporary settlement. Now let us understand next part of this chapter. So this is a very simple chapter. So settlements generally can be classified into rural and urban settlement in a modern scenario. Okay, so not much has been given in this chapter. 11th standard human geography NCERT will find detailed about settlements. Okay, so rural and urban settlements. Okay, rural settlement can be further classified into compact and scattered. Compact means what? People will stay in very close to each other. Okay, so they are very close to each other. They are staying. So here. So they generally this will happen on the plains. Okay. So compact settlement will happen in the plains. Scattered settlement will happen in the hilly areas, like you have hills. Okay. So one household is here, another household is here, some household is here. Okay, another one is here, then someone is staying here, someone here, someone here, somewhere. Okay, so they are known as scattered settlements. So generally in the valleys, on the hilltops, these types of scattered settlements will be found. Okay, so houses are now closely built in the scattered settlements. Okay, now let us understand next part, that is transport. Once you build your settlement, you require transport. So maybe in the ancient times there were a horse. So using horses, people used to go for hunting, gathering. They'll go for farming. Okay. Then during the time of farming, okay, when the farming era came, so that time the farmers built bullock cart for the transportation. Okay. So different modes of transportations have been designed for the different purposes. Okay, so goods and human beings both will be moved using this transportation. So friends, transportation in the modern times can be done by the three ways. First one is a roadway. So you have heard about multiple projects like golden quadrilateral, okay, diamond quadrilateral. So these are the different projects for road and rail networks. So golden quadrilateral is nothing but it's a let us say quadrilateral which is connecting the four important uh, let us say hubs, business hubs in the India. So we know that Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata, these are very important business hubs in India. If we connect them, then the mobility for goods and services and human beings will increase. So this is called as a golden quadrilateral. Then you have other roads like you have village roads like under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. These village roads connecting village to village are built. Okay, so roads can be classified into two types. One is a metal road, that is a very strong road. Okay, so they put bitumen on that and they make it very strong. So it is called as a pakka road or metal road. Second is unmetal road or kacha road. Here they don't put the bitumen and not much we can say stones and all have not been put on this, and it's very temporary type of route. In 1 or 2 years it will be destroyed, but they are very important for the transportation. So one is a metal road, another is a unmetal road. So different roads have been built. Currently the India China border standoff is going on. So you may hear about India's Border Road Organization or BRO is building huge road of network on the India-China border. Okay. Similarly, this Manali Leh highway also very important in the same purpose. It's one of the highest roadways in the world. Okay, it's very you should visit this roadways. It's very beautiful and scary as well. Okay, road built underground are called as a subways. So you subway, not a restaurant. Okay, so the roads which are built underground, underpaths, they are called as a subways. So we have so many road networks. We have district roads, we have village road, we have state road, we have national highways, we have state highways. Okay, so in this ways, road can be classified. So it's a very simple chapter. Next is about railways. So railways, one of the easiest mode of transportation for construction. So instead of road, rail routes are constructed very fast because you don't have to bring lots of things. Just you need some stones, you need some steel, and you can build this very fast. Okay, so they are one of the fastest built routes or roads in the anywhere in the world. Okay, so this Xining and Lhasa in the China, okay, is 4,000 meter above the sea level, one of the highest we can say it's a railway route. Okay, so and then there is a Trans-Siberian railway network. So if you see the Russia, it's a huge Russia. It's a huge. So this Trans-Siberian road network, railway network, goes from this one end of the Russia to the another end of the Russia. Okay, so it is connecting Saint Petersburg with the Vladivostok. Okay, so this is a very important and very big rail network in the world called as a Trans-Siberian Railways. Okay, one of the longest railway routes is in a country, one country, we can say called as a Trans-Siberian Railway route. Now, friends, third important rail after rail, third important is a waterways. So you might have heard about many waterways like Ganga waterways, Brahmaputra waterways, Mahanadi waterways, then this river linking project specifically for the waterways. Okay, so Allahabad Haldia National Highway number 1. So you have heard about this. So waterways are the cheapest in terms of transportation. So because you require very less fuel, there is no need to construct the road. There is a flow of the river is available. So with a little fuel and little cost, you can carry huge amount of payload from one place to another place. So you have inland waterways and sea routes. So National North-South Transit Corridor you might have heard about. So North-South Transit Corridor will be having the which will be connecting India to the European countries through this Chabahar port. So this North-South Transit Corridor is going through the sea route and land route. Okay. Then you have a Bharat Mala, you have a Sagar Mala projects. So Sagar Mala project is going to connect all the ports on the coastal regions of the India. So inland rivers are also being connected to the coastal regions of the India, and coastal ports are also being connected to each other through the sea routes. So in this way, you have inland waterways like Ganga, like Allahabad Haldia, you have inland waterways and you have a sea routes. So in this way, different types of waterways are there. Okay, so they are the cheapest way to carry the good. This you should remember. Okay, then airways, if you see, they are the fastest way of carrying the people. And now you see the schemes like Udan. Okay, so Udan have made it like if 1 hour or 2 hours if you are traveling. Okay, you should not, the air carrier cannot charge you more than 2,500 rupees. Okay, so these fastest, and it is becoming also cheapest in India because of the government stimulus like Udan scheme. So you can see that so many people are traveling by flight instead of traveling by the train nowadays, because flight tickets are as equal to as third AC tickets nowadays, or even sometimes cheaper than third ACs. So airways are becoming very competitive with the rail and road networks. They are very cheaper and very faster compared to rail and road, both the networks. Rails are more cheaper than the road networks. Okay. Previously, flights were more costlier, but now flights are becoming more cheaper than the rail networks nowadays. Okay. So that's why airways are becoming the future of the country, and it is going to be very important. Okay. Now the next generation way of transportations are also coming. Like Tesla and all these companies are building some new types of transportation where they are going to build a huge tunnel underground, and through that they can transport people by using the different technologies. Okay, like magnetic induction and so many things they can use. Bullet trains are there, so new technologies are coming in terms of transportation. Okay, so hope guys you have understood about the transportation. Next part in the human environment is a communication. So communication is nothing but a delivering our message to the person who intends to take it. So that's why communication is very important way of delivering our message. So communication can be done through TVs, it can be done through newspapers. So there are certain communications which are one to one, individual to individual. There are certain communications which are for the public reach. So we call them as a mass media. Okay. So mass media you can call it as a newspaper, radio, and now a new type of mass media is coming. We call it as a social media. So initially, if you want to reach the masses, you need to have access to the newspaper. You need to have access to radio or television. Only then you can reach to the masses. But because of the social media, okay, anyone can reach to the masses despite of not having access to the big media houses or big newspaper. So it is helping human beings to achieve the targets of democracy, liberalization, freedom, and justice. These types of things are being achieved because of the social media. Okay, so mass media is one of the important aspect to the reaching to the huge number of people. Social media and mass media nowadays are becoming more accessible to the people because of the satellites. So satellites, internet, they are making people connected to each other. Okay, so satellites are very important in case of communication. They also help in uh, IRNS type of satellites. Okay, regional satellites, they are helping to find out the mineral deposits. They are trying to help us to find out, let us say, petroleum deposits, and they are helpful for the agriculture. They are helpful for the defense. They are helpful for the remote sensing. So these remote sensing satellites are also very important for the creation of wealth in case of country. So I hope guys you have understood this chapter. It's very simple chapter. So based on this, there are simple MCQs. So first MCQs, which is not a means of communication. Okay, so very simple. Table is not a means of communication. Which type of road is constructed underground? Subway is constructed underground. Which mode of transport is most suitable to reach an island? So you need a ship if you want to travel by a water. Okay. Which vehicle is not will not pollute the environment? Yes. Which vehicle will not pollute the environment? Very simple. Cycle will not pollute the environment. Okay. Then this is a match the following: internet, Okay, what is the internet? Internet, means of communication. Okay, what is a canal route? Canal route, inland waterway. Okay, then urban areas, people engaged in trade and services. Compact settlement, closely built houses. So very simple chapter. There is nothing much in this chapter, but this can be used for your mains answer writing. So in prelims, much cannot be asked from this chapter. So I hope this is a very small and simple chapter. You'll understand this. If you have any doubt, please ask me on the Telegram, and see you in the next chapter tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.